All righty. We're here. We're live. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you out there. I want to start the session with the way that it's oftentimes concluded with a thank you. A thank you to the team that put this together. As I mentioned last time, there's a group of people, a collection of people that helped pull this together. I just want to feature one person in particular this month. Our speaker coordinator, Angela Smith, did a yeoman's job of her first ever time being speaker coordinator. She put in a lot of energy. You won't see Angela, you won't hear her name unless I get to mention her, but I do want to in particular point out that we appreciate her efforts and are looking forward to a great event tonight that she was the speaker coordinator of. I want to thank you out there, wherever you may. Thanks for inviting us into your home, your office, your car. Maybe I'm there in your dashboard right now, wherever you may be. Thanks a bunch for being there. We know you have a choice as to how you spend the next hour or hour and a half or so. And we appreciate you being here to support our mission of helping you get from where you are to where you want to be in your professional career. But before we set about doing just that, I have one word: announcements. Vince, let's go to the announcement slide. Or maybe I'll take us to the end. There we go. New chapter members, welcome. Newly certified, congratulations. We'd like to meet you. We'd like to hear and share in your joy on the certification. Please drop a note in the chat window there, helping us all celebrate what it is that you're celebrating. I want to remind all of you also, I mentioned you might be with us for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. That extra half hour is when we have our meet and mingle, our networking session. We've tweaked it, we've changed it. We think we've got something good going on there. Really invite you to hang around, meet some of the other people, have some two-way conversation, encourage you to hang for that 30 minutes. I think our guest speaker is going to be hanging with us then as well. Some breaking news for you. 7th edition PMBOK guide. You probably had a countdown clock waiting on this, now available to you as well. I think we even have announcements are so good, 2 pages of announcements today. That's right. Hey, don't lose your chapter benefits. Make certain that you are set in your membership to have auto renewal turned on. Then you won't miss anything like that PMBOK that we just talked about. Tonight, as in every event, we'll have a survey. We'll have links to that later on. Please fill that out. We appreciate, value your feedback. We look at that after every session. We evaluate how we did, make some decisions about how we can improve, close some shortcomings based upon your input. We really do use that. Take less than 60 seconds. Don't worry about that. Hey, did you get the email about that 5% off member price for the following certifications? I got that. I think it was a day or two ago or something like that. Just a reminder, that promotion ends at the end of this month. I'm taking a look down here and doing calendar math. I think we've got less than just a little under 2 weeks to be able to take advantage of that offer that's there. Lastly, watch your email also from this chapter for an upcoming survey to give us some specific thoughts on the best combination of paid and in-person monthly events to be offered in the future. Some signaling here that maybe you were thinking about how to kind of tweak this format now that we're getting to days in which we can all hang with each other, maybe even physically, like we haven't done in a long time. And hope you've been getting out and doing just that. So, and I think I just had Siri talking to me because I said something. All righty. So now I'd like to introduce to you a word from the board. This month, our word from the board of directors is brought to you by Erica Perlee, PMI Chapter Executive Vice President for Business Operations. Erica, it's good to see you. Good evening. What do you have for us today?
Hi, good evening. Can you all hear me okay?
You're good.
Okay, great. I was having some connectivity issues, but hopefully we'll be able to power through here. So good evening, everyone. Hello again from your Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer. We'll be sharing a bit about the status of the chapter and our efforts at meeting our annual goals. We started the year with grand ideas on meeting the mission to take our members from where they are to where they want to be, ensuring membership value while sustaining the chapter through every changing COVID times. And so our first 2 goals are actually focused on volunteer needs, because as you know, we operate almost completely with volunteer support. So our first goal, which is volunteer recruitment, we had set out to increase to 50 active volunteers. Our plan was to promote volunteer opportunities at every monthly program, in every email newsletter, and continually on our website. We encourage each volunteer to recruit volunteers from their network. And we also wanted to define new value propositions and incentives for volunteerism. And this included opportunities for agile training, additional PMI networking opportunities on a global level, and discounts to various PMI events. And so in February, we had about 22 active volunteers, including the board. And at the start of August, we have now 30 active volunteers and 9 Pro Dev Day volunteers. So we are very close to meeting this goal for the year, and we are seeking to exceed it. Our second goal was a 4 Tier 1 committees goal, basically saying that we wanted to have 4 committees developed that are going to basically be able to allow us to continue our programming and our other service opportunities. So with that, we defined a committee as having a committee chair assigned and having more than one person dedicated to a particular area. And so in this case, we have our programs committee, which is a standing committee, our general volunteer committee, also another standing committee. And then we also now can say that we have a membership committee as of July and a communications committee as of July. In addition to this, we've obviously continued with our social good committee that has 4 active members. And we also have a general operations committee, which consists of our IT director and our business intelligence director. And we are seeking to add a governance director. So again, very close to meeting this goal, hoping to exceed by the end of the year by adding additional committee opportunities. Next, we focused on our membership goals. So our membership recruitment goal was targeted to increase new membership by 15%. So we have actually been receiving new members every month. And however, what we've noticed is that the levels this year are definitely much lower than what we've seen in years past. So we currently have reached an increase of new membership at a rate of 4.86%. So there's still about 4.5 months left of the year to kind of reach out and appeal to prospective new members across many different organizations, student groups, community groups, and professional areas. And so we'll be continuing those efforts in the coming months. We also encourage anyone attending tonight who has not yet joined to consider joining before the end of the year. One of the biggest benefits to our members are discounts in attending various events, such as the upcoming annual Pro Dev Day conference, which I will be telling you a little bit more about tonight. But again, there are several different opportunities throughout the year that come up. As Rich mentioned, some of the discounts that are coming out this month. So definitely benefits to joining in the membership. In addition to that, we want to retain our members and make sure that they are finding value within the chapter and the different programs that we have to offer. So we had a retention goal that was targeted to increase retention of members on a 12-month rolling basis to 75%. We have met this goal at 75.49% at the end of July. And so we are seeking to maintain this level or increase this retention for the remainder of the year. So to help us contribute to achieving our goals are the new leadership joining us this past month to bring new ideas, provide support to the ongoing operations of the chapter. So I'm going to ask you guys to join me tonight and congratulate these volunteers to their new role in the chapter. Megan, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, Bagayatkar, Krishnan Venkataraman, who are going to co-lead as directors of volunteers. And then we also have Rich Loudman, who's joining us tonight as well, Director of Membership, and then our Director of Communications, Cheryl Copey. So if you do have any further questions regarding the operations of the chapter, I want you to feel free to reach out to me personally at vp@pmicic.org. Or if there's any questions in these specific areas, you can feel free to reach out to those directors. At this time, I'd actually like to switch gears and talk a little bit about our Pro Dev Day event coming up. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing that. Okay, there we go. So first thing I want to mention, obviously having to cancel last year, we wanted to kind of make adjustments, obviously, during the pandemic times, but we also wanted to ensure this year that we're not only able to provide you a PDD, Professional Development Day, but that it's going to increase the opportunities for additional ways to earn professional development units, but then also open up new opportunities for networking. And so we actually, through discussion with other chapter presidents, we've come to a decision to partner with 2 other chapters within our region and bring you a great opportunity for professional development workshops. So in an effort to maintain safety for all members and the community, we're going to remain virtual for this Pro Dev Day. So that way you won't have to leave the comfort of your home, your office, or wherever you choose to join. This year, we are also taking a little bit of liberty on the term Pro Dev Day and really extending the benefit to almost an entire week of opportunities to earn professional development units, including an opportunity to take a Disciplined Agile Scrum Master DASM course for certification. So let me just kind of walk through a little bit about what that week will look like. Beginning on Monday will be the first session for this DASM course, which will be divided over 3 half-day sessions throughout the week. I believe the days are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There are limited seats for this course, so register as soon as you are able to. And definitely, if you are seriously considering earning certification, this is going to be a great opportunity to kind of take the course, learn from others, and collaborate, be prepared for this certification. Continuing on Wednesday, there's going to be an all-day workshop with our keynote speaker, Sinakawa, and it's going to be focused on advanced collaboration. So this workshop is also limited in seats. If you see the registration and you are interested, please sign up right away so you don't miss that chance. And then finally, on the afternoon of Thursday, September 23rd, and the morning of Friday, September 24th, will be the full offering for the Professional Development Day, again, split over 2 days, hoping you won't have to take off a full day of work. You can kind of split that over the 2 days. But you're going to be offered a full lineup of both 2 keynote speakers, 13 sessions covering topics in agile, leadership, diversity, equity, and inclusion, design thinking, and so much more from a professional development perspective. So you won't want to miss this opportunity. Then we're going to wrap things up here in Central Indiana with a social meetup. For those of you who want a chance to meet face-to-face, to network with other attendees, we're going to be providing a meetup opportunity for that. So more details to come on that. Check the website. Again, visit the site prodevday.com to learn more, to stay up to date on new things, and then also to register. And I encourage you to register today. So with that, I'll turn things back over.
Thanks. Thanks a bunch for that update. I'll tell you, this past piece here by Erica promoting Pro Dev Day is so important, because if you show up on the 15th of September, the 3rd Wednesday of the month, like you do every month, and you show up here, it's a ghost town. We're not doing the September. We're doing this stuff instead. Erica, one more time, to register, what should we do?
Oh, visit the website, prodevday.com. You'll be able to find more information about registration for all of the different sessions that are coming up.
Great. Erica, thank you so much. Great to hear from the board again. Good work, guys.
Thank you, Rich.
You bet. All righty. We're getting close now to that time, what you've been waiting for here. But first, some rules and regulations. What we have here is a recollection of our copyright and disclaimers. PMI members are honest, responsible, have respect and fairness. We value that. Therefore, we follow some simple, make sense rules, like all the work presented within the presentation coming up is the intellectual property of the presenter. Views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the speaker are not necessarily those of PMI or PMI CIC, although today's speaker is actually from PMI, so I expect good alignment. And the unauthorized reproduction or distribution of copyright law without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is illegal and punishable under federal law, except for that part about Major League Baseball. I was just checking if you were paying attention out there. Now, about our guest speaker. Our featured guest speaker tonight hails from Tampa, Florida. But more importantly, she's an innovative professional development specialist in quality e-learning programs and curriculum development. Samantha Mulford is the Micro-Credential product specialist for PMI. She holds a dual master's degree in education and instructional technology and is deeply passionate about developing superior e-learning experiences for PMI members. Today, Samantha will introduce us to PMI's Agile Hybrid Project Pro Micro-Credential. Samantha, welcome.
Thank you.
The platform is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And thanks for a great intro. Thanks everybody for the invitation. I really appreciate being here. The support has been amazing. So your team has done a fantastic job. So I really appreciate it. So a lot of people have heard a lot of different things about new products that PMI are introducing. One of those product lines is micro-credentials. And the certification team that I'm a part of at PMI will be constantly, obviously, telling you more about micro-credentials and bringing out more and more. But I wanted to introduce you specifically to Agile Hybrid Project Pro. But first, why did we develop micro-credentials and why did we develop Agile Hybrid Project Pro? Well, as you know, PMI does extensive research. We want to know how to improve products for our members. We want to always introduce what our members are looking for. So I'll have a couple of questions to ask you later on in the presentation, but when we developed this, we wanted to understand exactly what the market wanted. So we asked PMI members, and when we design these micro-credentials, just for your benefit and knowledge, we do have beta testing, and obviously there's alpha testing prior to that, just to ensure that the product aligns with what our goals are. And you will also have an opportunity, if you'd like, to become a beta tester. And I'll let you know a little bit later on how to do that. But Agile Hybrid Project Pro can help you and your team. It's a new upskilling micro-credential. It helps project managers demonstrate their ability to manage Agile or hybrid projects. Also, it helps the project manager who has a PMP stay currently aligned to the latest project management principles. Agile Hybrid Project Pro is the only hybrid micro-credential currently in the market. And again, we did extensive research and found out a lot about different needs of project managers. And our research really indicated that project managers spend a lot of their time, approximately 50% of their time, in Agile Hybrid projects. So that's kind of a little bit of the genesis behind why we designed this particular micro-credential. What is a micro-credential? In terms of, PMI has an extensive amount of certifications, but I want to really hone in on what the differences are. A micro-credential isn't a certification. It's a credential, and it certifies on specific skills and knowledge, competencies, and it's particularly focused on a new subject area. Anything that obviously project managers are looking to upskill on, something that they're looking to say, okay, look, I don't have that, so I need to have that particular skill set to gain a promotion, to understand better how to do my job. In this particular instance, micro-credentials, PDUs are not required to maintain a micro-credential. You do not need to renew them. There is no application process. If you think back when you got your PMP and that application process, don't need that for micro-credentials. And they don't expire. Also, the difference between a certification and micro-credential is that you don't actually get a certificate for the micro-credential, but you do get a badge award. You get an achievement badge. Also, you do gain PDUs with micro-credentials, but if you don't have a PMI certification, those PDUs are not applicable. You can't just bank them and hold on to them, but obviously you will gain the PDUs towards maintaining other PMI certifications. Who's eligible? Obviously, current PMP certification holders, project managers that want to demonstrate their hybrid expertise, perhaps project managers who are willing or beginning to venture into the Agile hybrid space. And I found with some of the surveys that we did conduct, project managers who want additional study prep for the new PMP. So it's a pretty diverse product. But there are, just to reinforce, there are no prerequisites. You don't have to have a certification in order to gain a micro-credential. It's a standalone product. So the structure and the content of the specific micro-credential, Agile Hybrid Project Pro, it's set up very similar to what you might be familiar with. There are domains. Obviously, they're identified as the high-level content knowledge area. There are tasks and responsibilities that the project manager has to engage in. within the content structure of the e-learning course. And obviously enablers. How do you illustrate the examples of work that are associated with that task? So again, in this particular instance, we focused on the manage conflict module, and I'm not going to read through the screen, but exactly what you'll learn, those are the objectives, what you're gaining from that particular module. I'm going to keep moving. And then obviously, along with the course, we developed an exam. So not only are you going to learn from, obviously, the e-learning course experience, you'll also have an exam after the course. And again, I'm not going to read through this specifically, but it aligns with what you're familiar with, what you've come to expect with a PMI certification. Again, this is a micro-credential, but it aligns perfectly with the people, process, and business environment areas. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually do a deep dive. I'm going to take you into the course so you can get to experience one of the modules so that you can actually see what it looks like within the e-learning experience. And if you're a member, you can go to your PMI dashboard, and that's where you'd be able to see this course, and all of the details would be right inside there. So I'm going to switch. Let's see. Between these courses, let's see if we've got this, and hopefully you can see my screen. So we are right now live inside the course. There are 20 modules, if you see on the left-hand side here. And when you're in the course itself, obviously I've clicked into the Manage Conflict module or Manage Communications. Right away, you're going to experience the course and see that you have a scenario. So you're going to be immersed in this particular project. So it's going to describe your mission. And I'm going to set up the video so you can hear what it's about.
E.B. Albright Inc. is working with the Pennsylvania State Department of Transportation on a new design-build program to reduce traffic on the I-95 corridor. The solution could save an average of 30 minutes in commuting time and allows the private sector to use its creative talents to develop optimal solutions to moving vehicles smarter and more quickly. You'll be working with James Dixon from PennDOT to effectively manage communications between many different types of stakeholders.
Okay, so it cues you up. It gives you your scenario. You've got the video. Now we're going to get started. It'll give you steps, okay? What exactly are we testing? What are you going to be learning from this particular section? What are you practicing? How are you going to effectively figure out that scenario? Then you'll have your task overview. You'll be able to give a clear picture of what the expectation is and what you need to do and what decisions you need to make in order to help you through the scenario. This is one of my favorite features. I always call it like email a friend. It's just a little PMI tip, but it tells you a little bit more. It's giving you a little tip and a little hint towards what you might be able to want to do when you're taking on this task. There's also a couple of tabs up here that I want to draw your attention to. There's a lot of resources embedded within this course. When we tested it, most people took between 6 to 12 hours to take the course. And a lot of that extensive, journey through the course was because if you wanted to go in depth and really take advantage of the resources, there's a lot. I'm not going to click on these links. And there's also a glossary. Maybe you don't understand the term that's embedded in the course. The glossary is right here to help you to be able to understand and give you a better view of what that exactly means. So we're going to move on next. So your first task, you're analyzing the communication needs in this particular scenario. We're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to give you the tools and techniques that we expect that would be required to help you through this scenario. What are your deliverables? What do you need to deliver at the end of this particular task? And resources. Again, you can link out and find different resources that will help you. So let's see. Now you get to test your knowledge. So we've given you all the resources, queued you up into the scenario, given you the overview. We'll give you another view here and ask the question. Again, you can have the option to go back and review. And here's your question. Obviously, these are all the responses, and let's see how well I can fail. Obviously, if you answer the question, it's going to give you feedback. So I'll try again. Let's see if we can get the better response. All right. I didn't memorize it, I promise. And then you go to your next task, and it repeats itself in the same way. You're going to go ahead, you've given the task, you've got all your tools, techniques, deliverables, and resources, and then we're going to test you and ask you, what exactly is it that you need to do? And I'm just going to keep going through. Obviously, again, the feedback's going to help you. And then my little friend over here is constantly going to remind me, guess what? Think about this so that you'll be able to answer this question more effectively and solve the task. There's at least 5 in most of the modules tasks for you to work through and complete. And I'm just going to keep going through so that you can see that and we can get to the end. And task 4. And the questions in each of these tasks are set up a little bit differently, so you're not going to see the same thing over and over again. It's going to ask you to do some drag and drop. It's going to ask you to do different things. But now your mission's complete, and in this particular module, that's exactly what you've learned through completing this particular scenario. As I said before, there's at least 20 modules, and it takes between 6 and 12 hours if you engage with everything. Also, at the very end, and I won't take you into this, but I just wanted to point this out, there is a quiz, and it's basically 15 questions that align with the exam so that you're practicing the exact questions that will appear in the same type of format that will appear in the actual exam. And obviously there's a survey to complete. So I'm going to go back to the presentation, hopefully as seamlessly as we decided to practice earlier. And Rich, if I'm not at the right spot, please help me. There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. So that was a little bit of a deeper dive inside the e-learning course. Obviously, this is kind of another overview of what is going on within the course itself that you just saw. But right now, I'd love to ask a question, and we're polling everybody. What exactly is your project management role? And you can respond in the chat unless you go.
We have a survey for this.
Okay, the survey.
We do have some questions
Perfect.
coming in also.
Okay.
So folks, go ahead and please vote in the survey there. We have 3%, 17. We have over 100 attendees.
Perfect.
It looks like on this one. While we're getting these in, Samantha, there was a question of how do you find these?
I can share the website. I know it's kind of like a hidden little secret in the PMI.org website. They are there, I promise. But because again, they're new, we're still like in a soft launch mode right now. I'll give you the link to the website and you'll be able to directly see that. And currently right now, there's also a discount. So I will be able to share that link with you.
Okay, great. Looks like Kenny may have found it and put a link out there that concludes
Perfect.
Agile Hybrid Micro-Credential.
That's
URL. So that seems to be in the right direction there. Okay, 50% reporting, and well, it looks like I'm going to end the voting in 3, 2, 1, and then we'll push the results out too. I'm going to share those results. A strong showing for PMP.
Nice.
Let's see, another question here related to the course. Do you get unlimited access to all the course content even after course completion, like a reference for the future? How's that work, Samantha? That's
a super question, and I get asked that all the time. As long as the course is still live and available, once you purchase it, it is yours. It sits in your learning library. You can reflect upon it. You can go back to it. You obviously won't be able to retake the exam unless, of course, you need to retake the exam, but The course is yours to keep as long as we have it out there. Obviously, we'll update it when certain portions of it need to be retired, but it's yours for an eternity as long as it's there.
Okay. And
So
I
yes,
think
the
that may have
unlimited
been
access.
it on the questions. So I'm going to slide you back to your presentation. You can pick that back up again. Alrighty.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I'll keep monitoring for questions as well. So I'll drop off. Back to you for a bit.
Fantastic. Thank you. So I mentioned a little bit earlier again about e-learning and the assessment, and again, getting into the differences between what's a micro-credential, what's a certification. I did talk about the hours to complete. Again, you can take as long as you want. People keep asking me, it's like, okay, I see it out there, there's a discount. Do I have to rush to buy it? And I'm like, well, yes, if you want to go ahead and take advantage of the discount, but once you've purchased it, it's yours. And you can take your time completing the modules. You'll obviously get your 13 PDUs towards your current PMI certification. It fits within that strategic talent triangle. So I wanted to make sure I pointed that out as well. Recently, we did update all of the micro-credentials, and in particular, Agile Hybrid Project Pro, with a 24-hour exam window. So basically what happens is, once you've completed your course, you're eligible to take the exam whenever you choose. But as soon as you begin the exam experience, it takes you over into the Pearson VUE portal. It's not a scheduled exam, as it were. You don't have to apply. You don't have to go to Pearson VUE. This is all seamlessly integrated right into the LMS. So you'll know when you finish the course, click on Start Exam. But once you're in that, and once you engage, you have 24 hours to complete your exam, because we want people to get in, take the exam, move forward. But again, to somebody's earlier question, you do have unlimited access to your course to refer back to. The assessment itself, unproctored exam. So you're on your honor system. Obviously, it's online, convenience of your home. You have that 24-hour window to be able to take it once you start. There are 60 questions and 75 minutes in which to take the complete course, complete exam. And obviously multiple choice and situational questions. So there's a lot of description to introduce the situation. And I can see that question. I don't know if we want to jump over to that. Somebody's asking, what is the limited time to take the exam if failed the first round? This is a really good question, and it's really important too. So thank you for asking. You do have 3 retake opportunities to be able to take the exam, and there's a 180-day period in which that time frame is to take those exams, those additional retakes. From what I've seen, maybe 2 retakes is really all that's necessary from some folks that were going through the beta, but yep, 3 retakes, 180-day period in order to take all those retakes. And what we've got on the dashboard as well, after you've finished one exam, and if it says, okay, you didn't pass, you'll get a notification. Then on your dashboard again, it will display, here, retake the exam. And there is obviously a retake fee that you'd obviously have to engage in. I think it's $25 just for the retake to be able to retake the exam each time. Hopefully that answers that. What I get asked a lot is, and again, it was a perfect segue when I heard about your professional development day earlier, the DA certifications, and how does that compare with Agile Hybrid? How does this all compare to ACP? Basically, again, let's view ACP first. ACP is a certification. So right there, extreme distinction between these particular products. Obviously, it's an application-based ACP exam. You demonstrate your real-world experience. There's also 21 hours of contact that's training that you're supposed to have in Agile practices, in addition to 12 months project experience within the last 5 years. So completely different process, very different. Agile Hybrid, in comparison, it's obviously directed towards project managers who want to demonstrate proficiency. They want to upskill. They want to add on this particular credential to their existing PMP certification, as it were, and upskill to that. Because if you took your PMP previously within the last 1 to 3 years, you're missing that Agile piece. So this will help add that on. And obviously that credential, it allows the PMP certification holder to demonstrate knowledge in Agile and hybrid concepts. DA, they're also micro-credentials. So it's a little different as well, but there's certifications and there's different DA certifications that you can apply. They're all Scrum-based, but there's different levels, but they do apply as far as like it's somewhat a micro-credential, somewhat a certification, depending on the particular certification that you're engaged in. So there's a little bit more information on the website, and we've updated this since that time. So, and recently went over that. But again, your professional development day is going to give you a great opportunity to engage in one of those DA certifications. And I can see another question here, Rich. Would a person certified in PMP and PMI, ACP, and or DASM benefit from this? That's a mouthful because, again, we just went over there. It's something if you want a refresher, I would say it's very similar. I'm not going to deny that the ACP content is very similar to what's in this e-learning course. DASM, it's more Agile based. There's more hybrid approaches in Agile Hybrid Project Pros. So if you want purely Agile, then you're going to be DASM. If you want more hybrid concepts, then you're going to be engaged with the Micro-Credential Agile Hybrid Project Pro. But again, if you've only got your PMP and you want to upskill and gain that Agile Hybrid component, this is the course for you. Okay. Okay.
In the space right now.
Sure. When you purchase the course, does that include the first exam? Yes, it does. So when you initially make that first purchase, the course and exam is a bundled product. So you get both.
And to get the PDUs, you do have to pass the exam, not just take the course. That would just...
Correct. It's all part of the full package. So course and exam, and then you'll get the PDUs. And then at the end, you get the certification achievement badge.
All righty, back to you.
Thank you. I guess we have another poll question.
Oh, here it is, everybody. What is this one, Samantha?
This one is which certifications do you currently hold? So it's timely, given what we've been discussing.
All righty, folks. Choose your project role. This one, thank you. Yeah, in a moment, let's go ahead and process the poll results first, and then I'll have another question. It looks like regarding then PMO and Scrum Master. What do you think, Samantha?
I can only see what 62%. Oh, project role.
Scroll down. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Project manager, mostly. Yep. Program manager. Yep. So the number one is project manager.
Okay, ready for the question on the Q&A again?
Sure. I honestly don't have PMI's definition of hybrid, so I'm not going to butcher that one. I will go to the content team and I will make sure that I get you that specific hybrid definition. So thanks for asking, Brenda.
Okay, and from Mark.
Similar enhancement to a safe cert. Honestly, can't define that either. So it's not a certification. It's a micro-credential. So I want to really point that out. So safe, it's probably to say it's a certification. So it's not similar in that regard. Don't know if that really answered your question.
Feel free to follow up, folks, and continue to ask questions. Samantha, back to where you were in your presentation.
Okay, thank you. And we are right towards the end. So currently we're in a pilot phase. We're at the end of the pilot phase where we've been learning a little bit more about what we need to do to enhance the product. Initially, when we've gone through different surveys and worked through with beta testers, we had to basically improve the access, and we did so by putting it into our new LMS. If you haven't been able to experience that yet, or you have taken e-learning courses in the past, very different experience now. We also wanted to make it more seamless, as I discussed, by having the product with both the exam and the e-learning course coupled together. So you didn't have to go out and apply. You didn't have to go out and go to Pearson VUE and schedule the course. So we learned a lot by developing the course, but we're right in between pilot phase and soft launch, as somebody had shared earlier. So thank you for that, about sharing the actual landing page where you can go. Right now, we still offer the 30% discount through the end of the month. And then we're moving into the soft launch. September 1st is what we'd like to hopefully shoot for at this point. Again, the webpage is there. We've got the link. If you need to contact me directly to be able to ask more questions about micro-credentials, then go ahead and you can email me through the email on the screen, microcredentials@pmi.org. And we also have a promo video. Rich, would you like to share that video right now?
Equipped with the most cutting-edge, agile, and hybrid skills you need. How do you plan in an environment of constant change? How do you keep within tight constraints but stay flexible at the same time? Which project management approach should you choose to adapt to different situations? Now, more than ever, it's time to put the pro in your agile and hybrid skills with Agile Hybrid Project Pro. Whether you're PMP certified and want to align to today's PMP, or a project manager with agile or hybrid experience ready to prove your expertise, this cost-effective online course is available only from PMI and ensures that you're equipped with the most cutting-edge, agile, and hybrid skills you need to lead any project in any environment. In as little as 6 hours, you will understand the principles and concepts of agile and hybrid projects, learn strategies and solutions to complex challenges based on real-world scenarios, and gain access to a range of resources. There's no application process, no requirements, and it never expires. Simply complete the self-paced online course, take the non-proctored 60-question online assessment, and when you're done, add the digital badge to your profile and CV. You'll also earn 13 PDUs toward maintaining your PMI certification. Level up your agile and hybrid skills. Stay relevant. Get pro. Agile Hybrid Project Pro.
Samantha, you can come on, head on back. Okay, so I'm not sure where we are with Samantha at this point. I will invite more questions in the chat window. We have time. Look to figure out a way to get Samantha back here. It was at the tail end of her presentation. I had some questions for her as well. So, okay, we're going to work to get Samantha back. And let's, we had another segment that we do here. I can ask our special, there's Samantha.
I was like, I can hear you now. I could hear you, but you just couldn't hear me or see me. Sorry.
Oh, we got you back. Okay. Okay. Any words back on the video? We got you back with your slide.
Perfect. Yep, and we're pretty much at the end, so I'm happy to take more questions at this point. It seems like people are chatting up a storm in the chat. So
There sure are a number of things here. So let's move to some of those. I'll start to bring them on screen for you. When's the offer valid till?
that's correct, August 31st. And then when we move into soft launch, there'll be another opportunity and a different offer. But what we'd like to offer exclusively to chapters is a specific discount. So what I would love to do is, if you want to contact me, we'll be offering that contact as we move into that soft, or that discount as we move into the soft launch. But yeah, contact me through the Micro-Credentials email and I'll be able to tell you more. I heard that, didn't catch the cost. I heard the 30% discount. The cost.
30% of what? How much are we saving here?
30% discount off of 175 for PMI members. Somebody answered it in the chat. If you're not a member, if you're not a member, it's $200. So thanks for the question.
The 175 is a discount already for members, which is like awesome. You know, which is great. So this 30% is even off the top of that. That's
correct. And somebody's done the math. $122.50 for members. Thank you.
Okay, is it there? Yeah. All righty. Let's see. Checking for other questions here. There's this general question I'm going to post up here that kind of went to everybody. Is the project management becoming responsibility of team leaders rather than dedicated? So I kind of broaches. Somebody said, yeah, I see a lot of project leaders that are out there, and they're not really project managers, and they're not really certification or something. But if someone had a project like this and was struggling, it didn't look like they needed to be PMI members or part of PMI to take this course. Would you recommend, hey, why don't you go for this Micro-Credential and skill yourself up?
Absolutely. That would be a perfect opportunity. We're seeing even like next gen. So folks that are very new to project management, maybe still in college, who need to get, more credentials. This is perfect for those folks as well, just as an introduction to introduce them to PMI and give them a taste of what we have, and then help them progress to get a full PMP if they don't already have one.
So tell me about this concept of micro-credentials. Samantha, how long has this been around?
Micro-credentials, it's, there's a lot of different institutes that we're talking about. It's an academia type, response to asking, what we can gain and what people can gain that doesn't require a full degree, that doesn't require a full certification. How can we easily showcase a skill and gain a skill? Obviously through true tested, you have to have a course, you have to have an exam that's psychometrically proven, but it's a concept that's been out there for a little while. But I will say that a lot of people misunderstand it. When you see micro, people think small. When you see a specialization, it's a little bit more broader and in depth. So we've gone through extensive research. We actually just had a focus group with the CGC, and they were actually telling us, this is how we'd like to see future products develop. But we asked, what would a hiring manager look for? If you're hiring somebody, and you look at somebody's resume, it's like, what would you consider a micro-credential versus a specialization? A micro-credential, obviously just a small skill. It's like, I know how to do this particular skill. That's, how a micro-credential evolved. It's not a full in-depth course of study or specialization that you spend hours and hours or 6 months, a year doing. It's something that can be easily achieved very quickly.
All right, so there are other micro-credential courses out there?
There are. PMI has a lot of other micro-credential courses. We were talking earlier about Agile Hybrid Project Pro being quite a long name and title.
Yes.
We have designed and developed a built environment construction communication pro. So there's a lot of series now, and they're still in their soft launch infancy and pilot phase and different evolutionary stages. But there's organizational transformation series as well. Maybe you've heard of citizen developer practitioner that's out there as well. And what we're trying to do in design is an actual micro-credentials hub page, so that when you go to that specific page, that'll be obviously a part of PMI.org, you'll be able to specifically land and see all those different micro-credentials and see series as they're evolving. But again, so new, obviously we're looking for industry specific new micro-credentials. So that leads me to a question for you. What credentials would PMI members like to see? As we're designing new courses, new micro-credentials, looking for new skills that you want to develop, what skills would you like to see? What courses would you like to see in the future? What's impacting your profession?
The speaker has flipped the table here, has turned the tables on you. So what types of topics do you think would be great for this micro-credential concept? Samantha, you went over it before, but it bears some explaining. Even that differentiation between, what's a certification versus a credential, and you have to kind of parse that a bit, because some people can look at the two words and go, oh, that's a difference without a distinction. But you're really drawing a distinction here between certification versus credential.
I'm seeing a lot of people, risk management, yep. It's one of the ones.
Critical chain project management.
Project management.
Someone there is throwing underhand to me, and that one of my favorite topics. Samantha, as it turns out, really pretty awesome.
Okay, change management. Yep, that's on my list of topics. Yep, healthcare. Okay.
You mentioned something earlier on about. I love leadership development too. You mentioned something earlier on about beta testing.
I did.
So what? Okay, so say more.
Say how? Yeah.
That sounds taking a course for free to me. So I'm
close, not quite, but close. It just depends on the course. So yes, again, that micro-credentials inbox, that email that I shared earlier, micro-credentials@pmi.org. You can email me there, and we are obviously always evolving and always different testing of different beta tests. If you'd like to participate, please email me there and we can add you to the list. And also, when there's specific landing pages, again, like I spoke of that micro-credentials hub page that we're starting to develop, there'll be opportunities there where we create specific pages where you can fill out an interest form and say, yes, I want to be part of this. I want to get my name on the list to do the next construction, or the next leadership development course. I'd love to be a part of that. But there is obviously a cost, a nominal fee in some cases, but as we're testing them and as we're getting better at making this product a little bit more refined, then obviously the costs are increasing. So yes, it can be, there's some courses that were out there for like $79. It depends, anywhere between, less than $100 up to $200. So
micro fees too.
Micro fees, I like that. Yeah, micro fee, definitely. Is digital transformation series a micro-credential? That's a really good question. Not that I'm aware of, but that was one of my topics that I hit on, that I was like, we need a digital transformation micro-credential for sure. But no, not that I'm aware of, no.
And from Ken.
Incorporate PMI Agile Alliance approaches. That's really good. More so, you're going to find that more in DA. So I would say that's more the DA side, not Agile Hybrid Project Pros. So yes, but in the DA certifications.
Yeah, we are getting some great questions here. I wonder if one of the things to include when you get to a real launch would be an FAQ, perhaps, because there are a lot of nuances, I think, and differences here with what people are accustomed to.
And absolutely, to your question and point, on the landing page that we've shared already, there is an FAQ link. So yes, all these questions that are out there, we have FAQs. The customer advocacy team also have those FAQs. Some of them are unique specifically to each different micro-credential, but obviously the standard approach, the exams similar, may have different length of time, may have a different amount of questions, but similar processes. Can I retake? Yes. So yes, that FAQ is available for the products.
If people have more questions beyond this, or want to get in touch with you for a beta test or something like that, how do you recommend people get in touch? How do you want that to happen?
definitely email me. You can email me at that Micro-Credentials inbox. I will be there checking that. Also,
That's you.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the lady behind the inbox there. So yes, I know. Yeah.
Admin@org.com.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, everything. So, but yes, you can contact me there and I can get you to the right person, to the right product owner, as it were, to talk about specific products. If you have a question or an issue or concern or something, and if you want to know more about beta testing, yes, that's the email connection for me.
So I'm going to ask that you back up and look at this. I mean, this is your job, your mission, your role. You have a passion for it, clearly. But your background is in instructional design. You actually have a truckload of experience in the space. Stepping back and looking at the concept of micro-credentials as a learning tactic, how do you review it? What do you think of it? Is this the way to go, the way of the future? Is it going to replace something else? From your professional viewpoint, how do you see these micro-credentials play out?
I absolutely love the concept behind a micro-credential, because in workforce development, we're crying out for people who have skills. How do I demonstrate my skills? Not everybody can achieve a degree. It's not for everybody. You may even have experience currently in project management. You don't have a degree. Certifications, and then with a credential coupled on, it's just like an add-on. It's an easy way to share that you have that skill. It's an easy way to impress an employer if they're asking you to gain whatever it is that you may lack, because maybe you took your certifications years ago. It's a proven way to say, I've got this skill. And again, everybody's loving the badging. So it's like everybody wants to showcase their badge on social media and share, look what I've achieved, so we're giving you a way to be able to do that now too, because everybody's doing that. Everybody wants to define the skills, but honestly, for workforce development, it's key. It's something that the industry is demanding. They need this. It's something that's easy to achieve. So I'm 100% behind it, especially in an e-learning form, because this type of course you can take wherever, whenever, and it's just easy, it's accessible, and you can obtain it very quickly as well. So yes, very passionate about this, and always wanted to be involved in micro-credentials, and thrilled when PMI said, hey, we're going to start developing these. We need your kind of experience. And to your point, I've developed e-learning courses. Some of them are not so great, and I've seen, what colleges are doing as far as e-learning experiences. It's very text heavy. This is not Coursera. It's not Udemy. This is a proven research-based course, and these micro-credentials have gone through a significant amount of research to be able to produce the right content. So it's good quality, but yes, it's the skill that I think the industry is looking for that you'll be able to gain.
Wow, that says a lot about Samantha. I must say, I like the badges, a bit whimsical, but I kind of like that, rather than all the letters that I don't understand behind people's names all the time, which could be a me problem, at that. But a badge is going to jump out, and someone's really getting into it here and said tattoos ought to be maybe related. If someone wants to get a tattoo of a badge, are they trademarked or something?
Yes.
So just as long as you put the TM on your tattoo and do that. Samantha, thank you very much for being here and explaining a lot, demonstrating, sharing some of the videos behind it as well. That's wonderful, great Q&A, and then follow-ups. We look forward to being able to do that. When we have guest speakers like this, we appreciate it so much. We go out and we acquire like a gift, to be able to present to you. And well, we did this actually before your presentation, so we didn't really understand what micro-credentials. We knew you worked with micro-credentials, and so we got you this portable microscope, because we thought in your job you probably squint a lot working with micro-credentials, and it's got a light in it and everything here. And then I see from your presentation that's not really an appropriate gift for that. So instead, if you will hear, we have this, a certificate of an appreciation, which is officially signed by our chapter president and CEO, and Gay Lynn, who helps pull these together as VP of Professional Development. So just our heartfelt thanks, truly, in all seriousness here, for the time that you put into this, your willingness to share it with all of us, and a great presentation this evening. We had some very good numbers in attendees, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Would you also be so kind to hang around for our networking session? You might be able to see and meet some of the other members of the audience in that.
That would be
hang
fantastic.
for that?
Yes,
Excellent.
absolutely.
That's great. All righty. So we're going to get ready to queue up the networking session. I invite you again to hang around for networking. It's just no more than 30 minutes. We'll top it out at that point in time. And Samantha, you can close off the video and come back a little bit later for that too. But first, it's this time of the meeting. Yes, no need to adjust your volume. It's that part of the program where we have the volunteer mini podcast, and our special guest PMI chapter volunteer is with us, Rich Louderman. Welcome. How are you tonight?
Good evening, Rich, and all meeting attendees, all podcast fans. Doing well, thanks. Doing very well, thanks.
That's excellent, Rich. Well, welcome. I think I saw your name a little bit earlier on. You've taken on a new volunteer role with the chapter very recently.
Yeah, that's correct. Interim Director of Membership, and we'll see how I go and if you decide you want to keep me around.
I'd love the interim word in front of it. I didn't see that on the slide where it said interim. Is that your choice or somebody else's?
Oh, it was thrown out there at some point in the past, and I sort of latched onto it.
Okay, so that's your call to make it interim. What do you have any objectives for anything that you'd like to do in the role, out of curiosity? Some aspirations?
Well, obviously any organization is only as strong as its active membership, and so the general goal is to increase membership through showing folks in our service area what they can, how they can benefit from being a member of the chapter in addition to PMI. And getting those folks to understand how wonderful it can be being a volunteer in addition to the membership, and basically getting the whole package, and things such as the discounts that have been discussed, and other benefits of membership such as networking, etc. So those general goals.
Super. How long have you been in project management?
Well, before I got into IT project management, which is what I've been doing for about 25, 30 years. In another life, I was a scenic and other designer and technician in the world of theater. And so I was a project manager for, I've been a project manager probably for 40 years. I just didn't realize it while I was in theater and arts management. So, but IT project management with the official title, et cetera, probably 25 plus years.
All right, that theater background, that amazed me. You're sharing that with me a little bit earlier. Say more about what did you do, like coming out of school?
Yeah, my bachelor's and master's work at the beginning was is in scenic design, technology, the backstage stuff for theater, and made my living doing that out of college for a number of years, and then got into arts management, which involved that also, but. And then found my way into IT. So.
Oh, say more about this. Oh yeah, I'm working backstage at theater, and you wake up one morning, you look in the mirror, Rich, and you go, "Oh yeah, IT project management is that's the theater of the future, isn't it?" How does that happen?
In a nutshell, I bought one of the first Apple Macintoshes after deciding after a Fortran course when I was a biology major, before I was a theater major, after a Fortran course and dropping a bunch of punch cards more than once, I decided I never wanted to see a computer again, bought one of the first Macintoshes while I was in grad school, and decided, hey, computers are actually kind of cool. And that helped get me through my graduate studies. Apple Computer came in very handy while I was designing lights and sets and things. And,
yeah.
While I was finishing off that master's degree, I was faced with an opportunity to become an IT trainer and instructional designer as a graduate assistant. And next thing I knew, I was in IT.
Oh, that's amazing. I'd shortcut that whole thing and say, well, it's because of Steve Jobs. That's what happened. Rich, thank you so much for your volunteering. You're taking this elevated role within the chapter as well. Your time this evening. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Hang around also for the networking. We'll close with this, with your theater background. What's your favorite theatrical presentation of all time, Rich?
Oh man, so many. Wow. And I think I'd have to go
these
with
questions are not canned. We do
I
them live.
think I'd have to go with Phantom of the Opera because of the fact that it not only is it I think a good musical production, but it also involves an awful lot of technical behind the scenes stuff that's interesting and exciting that kind of can tie into IT.
Oh, totally. I can see that, and I'm getting nothing for this, but Phantom of the Opera coming up at Beef and Boards, I think yet this year, as it turns out. So maybe see you all there. Rich Loudman, thanks a bunch for your time. We'll see you all in networking. Guys, you may have seen the survey link at the top of the screen just popped up there. Please take the survey there. I also want to check to see that I got through all the right slides for the for my reminders. Let's see here. The last slide to make certain that we're looking forward to next month. Do I see it? Here we go. Pro Dev Day is the big feature, September 23rd, 24th. You heard a lot about it earlier. Just a reminder on that. We will not be meeting on the third Wednesday of the month in September. We do return with this type of programming back October the 20th. That's the next third Wednesday after September. So we'll see you then. Okay, time for networking.